This meeting is being recorded.
All right, should we get started, Lara?
Sure.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Iris Smith. I am one of the associate principals at Maine South. My role is human resources, but also instructional operations, which AP testing is under instructional operations. Lara? You wanna?
Sure. I am Lara Miller, and I am the testing coordinator. So I oversee the AP program, as well as the standardized tests such as the PSAT and MSQT, weekend SAT, and then all of the spring standardized testing, the SAT with SA, PSAT A9, and PSAT 10, and Illinois Science Assessment and Access, and a few other things too.
So the two of us are the two people that you can contact if you have any questions regarding AP testing, but also the spring SAT, PSAT tests. So we're so happy that you could join us this evening. We thought it would be very helpful this year to have this meeting in the beginning of the year. We have a couple of new things going on, and so we just wanted to share that information with you and answer any questions. Okay. All right. So AP tests are often, they're regularly given on the first 2 weeks of May. This schedule can be found on the College Board website. So if you Google AP test schedule 2023, you'll be able to see when these are given. These the test schedule is applied to everywhere around the country. And so students are given the AP test at the same time all over the country. Okay, so we did have an option to try out some digital exams, but we at this time decided to do all paper and pencil in school for 2023.
There are a couple of exams that are digital, though, that will still remain digital, like the AP Chinese. We still have some exams, such as the language exams or the computer science principles, that have a digital component, and those will still be the same. The AP 2D art and 3D art, those are also going to be digital submissions. So if you hear about some digital submissions for other schools, there are a couple of regular paper pencil that College Board is letting a few districts pilot this year. Would you like me to talk about the exam fees?
Sure, yeah.
Sure. So we have a few dates that are really important this year. So by 11/6, which is a Sunday, all of your exams need at least a partial payment. After November 6th, there will be late fees assessed. So that means if a student orders an exam after November 6th, an additional $40 would be added to the $97 for an exam. College Board also charges for unused tests or canceled exams. And that canceled exam would be if you ordered it before November 6th, but then you changed your mind after, that would be a $40 fee. Students that just don't show up and don't show up for a makeup for exams in the spring, that's an additional $40. So you would have already paid the $97 and then it's a $40 cancellation fee. And if a student misses that sign-up deadline of November 6th, and then they decide, okay, I want to take the test after all, and they let us know 2 weeks later or in December, then it's a $40 additional for that. There are some exceptions if there's a late testing fee, but those are on an individual basis.
The fees that are prescribed to us do come from College Board. So They're not District 207 fees. They are, in fact, College Board fees that they incur on us for those exams. Okay. The next slide is just to kind of explain how to sign up for the test. Students are automatically set to yes for ordering an exam when they join their AP class section. We're going to talk about the difference between the AP class section and Google Classroom. But once they are in AP class section, which is a College Board website, we default to yes. Once we get orders, then we change some of those to no. Okay. Students who do not join an AP class section, they will not show up on the registration site. So hopefully at this point, all of their AP teachers have guided them to the AP class section, given them a join code, and then your students have joined that class and is on the AP class section list. We are going through an audit and checking to make sure the kids are on there, that the roster from Infinite Campus and the grade book of the teacher matches what AP class section has on College Board. Again, if a student drops an AP class, please let us know, especially before Friday the 4th. That way we can remove them from the order and it wouldn't incur a late fee. Unfortunately, if they drop after the November 4th, we still have a test ordered for them that will incur that $40 late fee. Laura will be sending email reminders to students and teachers periodically as it gets closer to November 4th, reminding them to make a decision for taking the exam. So we thought we would take, we've heard that it gets a little confusing, so we thought we would take a little time to talk about the differences between the AP class section and Google Classroom. And then this year we're doing, we are using a payment platform called Total Registration. So Laura, do you want to go ahead and get started on that one? Are you on mute?
Me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So the AP class section is a way that College Board tracks who is in an AP classroom and how materials are ordered. So a student creates one College Board account, and this account is something that they will use their entire 4 years for other standardized tests as well as AP tests. And students create that account on myap.collegeboard.org. This spring, all of the students that had a previous account with College Board migrated the username to the student email. And the students are supposed, it's recommended that they use a personal email address so that when they have graduated from District 207, they can still have access to their College Board account for their test scores from AP as well as other standardized tests. So if a student has never had an AP account before or College Board account, they need to create one using their personal email address. Then they all receive join codes from their AP teacher. And a join code is a unique number letter code that goes specific to a teacher's classroom and to the period that they're teaching. And within that, when a student joins AP Classroom, they have access to resources that are on myap.collegeboard.org. And those resources include AP videos, study tips, a timeline that kind of maps out what they should be doing month by month. It's a really valuable resource, and the kids can kind of play around on there a little bit to see everything that is available to them. And it's also really important when the student sets up their account to make sure that it is accurate. And accuracy includes that their name is spelled correctly, that their student ID is the correct 6-digit District 207 ID, that their email is correct. So I have emailed many students that accidentally put their zip code in for their student ID instead of their 6-digit ID, or they put in, 7 digits or 3 digits or something like that. So inaccurate information, unfortunately, can lead to a delay in test results and scores come summer when those are posted. And
so I know this meeting,
all of that can be. Oh, go ahead.
So I know this meeting is for AP, but the College Board account is also very, very helpful for the SAT and the PSATs. They have collaborated with Khan Academy and use the scores that your students have on their PSATs to match them with tutorials. And so having the College Board account is very helpful, not just for the AP exam, but also for the SATs and the PSATs. I do want to reiterate that it's really important that we have students have only one College Board account. In the past, sometimes students couldn't remember their account information and then tried to create another account. The best thing is if you cannot remember any login information, to contact College Board, go to their website and then or Google, contact for technical help or something like that, and then there's a phone number that will help you with that account. So again, it's really, really important for students to have one account. Again, that can lead to delays in scores as well. Okay. Google Classroom is a classroom. I mean, most of the teachers at South use Google Classroom as their platform to give students resources or homework or content information. There may even be some grading and quizzes on there. So I've included a little snapshot of a teacher's Google Classroom. Again, it's created by the teacher. It's related to Google and their classes. And it does not have anything to do with College Board. So that's the platform for student materials for their class. The last one that we wanted to go over is total registration, and that is, again, the new payment platform. Laura, you want to continue with total registration?
Sure. So after a student has joined their Google Classroom with their teacher and then gotten on College Board and joined their teacher-specific section, they need to create an account with their parent. And the reason they create the account with their parent is because parents most likely are going to be the ones with the payment information. So a student needs to fill out the initial information, because on that total registration platform, the questions are being asked in terms of the student. What email address did you use on your College Board account? What's your student ID? Like some specific information. So the student and parent can create that account together, sit down and create it together. It should take about 10 to 15 minutes to create the whole account from start to finish and go through the questions. Parents have an opportunity when you're setting up this account with your student to add your own contact information in there, which is really important if you would like to receive the reminders via text message or emails. And it'll also send something like if the student hasn't done a particular part of the registration and needs to follow up on that. So parents and students can both receive text messages or emails as long as that information is inputted in total registration. During the process of total registration, there's a snapshot that's on there, and it's basic questions. It's not a million questions or anything, but it's basic contact information: name, phone number, cell phone. Then it's going to ask a couple other questions regarding one on financial assistance. There's a question if you qualify for free and reduced waiver. And then there's, if you answer yes to that, I will get an email or Iris will get an email, and it'll let us know that we need to approve or deny if someone qualifies for free and reduced. There's also a question that is on financial assistance, meaning if you are requesting financial assistance as the district has offered in the past, you can answer yes to that question, and then you can answer the follow-up question regarding why you are asking for financial assistance. Again, that'll go through an approval or denial process. And I just saw something pop up in the chat, and we'll let you know where that is as well in a second. So that approval denial, and you'll given a reason why you're approved, or why you'll be approved, or you're given a reason why you are denied additional financial assistance. Then there's also going to be questions for students that receive accommodations, and these would be College Board approved accommodations. So if a student has an IEP and they have College Board accommodations, or if a student has a 504 plan and they have College Board accommodations in their plan, those are applied for and approved or denied by College Board. On the letter that is sent to the student and the families, there is something called an SSD ID. And if you don't have that handy when you're filling out the paperwork, you can put a 0 in there and come back and edit. But that's a good number for you to have, because that's something, if you ever had to call College Board and they're asking for something about your accommodations, they're going to ask for an SSD. So it's student services with disabilities is what it comes on there. So if your student has College Board approved accommodations, when they take the AP exam in May of 23, they will be able to use those accommodations. And then another question that is on total registration is intent. Do you intend to take this exam? We are asking all students, regardless of if they're planning on taking an AP exam, one of their AP exams in May of 23, to complete the total registration process. There is the button that says, yes, I am planning on taking the exam, or no, I am not planning on taking the exam. The total balance is figured based on how you answer those questions. When we see that a student says, no, I am not planning on taking the exam, we will go back to the College Board website and we will adjust their exam order to no, so that an exam is not ordered for that student. If payment, full payment or partial payment, is not received by November 6th, and that student's, it's going to be changed to no. So those decisions need to be made prior to that November 6th date, and payment or partial payment needs to be made prior to that. Somebody asked where you find the total registration link. So there was an email that was sent on the 15th, and then on September 15th, and then there was a follow-up email that was sent on the 21st with the letter from the 15th that was embedded. On the email from the 15th, it had the 3 different check boxes that we just went over. It had Google Classroom, My AP, or AP class section, and total registration. There is a link in the section on total registration. I will send out a follow-up email tomorrow, and we will include this slide deck again, and I'll also include that total registration link.
So again, the difference is that last year payments were made through the bookstore or through Infinite Campus. This year we are removing all AP payment and having the payment go through total registration. So it is different. Total registration takes checks. There's a way to mail checks to the total registration. And then they take credit cards as well. They'll figure out a balance after all of the assistance and all those things are approved. They'll figure out a balance, and then you can pay directly to total registration. So again, the things that you might want to walk away with after today's meeting is to, one, make sure that students have joined the Google Classroom, which I'm sure they have. We, at this time, do not have Google Classroom passwords or logins for parents. And so if you're interested to see what the AP Google Classroom looks like for their AP class, ask your student to show you, if they say, they don't have any homework, you can also say, let's look at your Google Classroom, and all of that is typically on that platform. Another thing that you would want to make sure that your student did is join the AP class section. And again, many students have done that. They need that unique join code. If they haven't, that's okay. They can reach out to their AP teacher. They can get their join code from them, and then sign up for AP class section. It is important for students to get into the AP class section. And then lastly, you and your student will create a total registration account together. This will give you some email and text message notifications, and it will allow you to make payments for the exam. Again, we need partial or full payment before November 6th in order for a test to be ordered. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing here and see if anybody has any questions.
There was one question in the chat that I answered, and it was asking about total registration, asked for a student email, and should the students use a D207 email or their personal email. And the students can use the same one that they used on College Board. Not every student has a personal email on College Board. It's just really important that they have something like that when they are graduating. But total registration will do a matching tool with emails if they use the same one. If not, they have another way that they match up to make sure that we are that the student, it's in the College Board one and in total registration, is getting the same type of information. Jewel, did you have a question?
Yeah.
I did have a question, and I could just be losing my mind, but I have two kids, a sophomore and a senior, and I thought that I had already paid for all of their AP tests for this year, which means that then I must have created a total registration account, correct?
If I don't have a second screen right now, but I can look up, if you paid for exams for this year, you should have gotten a confirmation email that you paid.
I think I
can
did.
look that up and okay, I'll look that up. Julie, and is the student last name same as yours?
It is, and both my sophomore and my senior are going to be taking. I'm just trying to figure out. I might have created this total registration account and not even knew that I was creating an account because I did it with my student, and we're in the middle of college stuff. So if I paid, I most likely created an account. Correct?
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
There's no other way to pay.
Right. There's no way at this moment to pay through Infinite Campus. And if your student tried to pay at the bookstore or you paid at the bookstore, she would not have any way to be able to collect that money. So I believe that you did pay through total registration. But Laura, we can get back to you to confirm that.
If your child has no accommodations in that SSD box, you just put nothing, or you put the number 0.
You just, it's a yes or no question, I believe, for do you have College Board approved accommodations? It'll say yes or no, and then it'll skip. So a 0 in there is fine if that's an option. But I think when you say no, it goes to the next question.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? You can unmute and just ask a question or drop it in chat.
I have a question for seniors. the test results will be sent by the college board to colleges, or they have to send them themselves?
Roxana, that's an excellent question. There is an opportunity for students to get free score sends. And in April and May, there's information that comes out. It's sent directly to the students from College Board, and it'll let them know about their free score sends. And I believe they are doing that again this year, but there's a date that it ends. And when the students take the AP exams in May, part of the script that the proctors read talks about score sends. After the students have taken an exam, those free score sends are brought up as well. If they don't do the free score sends, then the students can still send a score to specific schools, but they have to, you would have to pay for them. I will send you a link for score sends. Roxana, what's your last name?
It's a long one. It's Dumitrescu.
Pardon me? If you want to drop it in the, do you want to put it in the chat? You can do it directly to me if you want, and I will get it from there.
Sure, yeah. I have another question. So this is kind of, it's for my education. Since most of the colleges have the early decision at the beginning of January, let's say, or between January and February, how will this AP score affect that decision, since it's not going to be available at the time when the colleges make the decision?
It would only be from things that are prior to the test date. So when colleges are making their decisions, they are looking at everything up to the point of application deadlines. And then a lot of schools, even with early decision, they've made their decision, but they're also looking at second semester grades. So the scores for AP exams don't come back until June or July. If they had to take something in a late testing window, sometimes those are not back until August. However, students might be able to still get credit for something and be placed out of something using their AP scores, or have it go to elective credit in college, but they might not know that the first day of going into college.
Thank you. I understand now.
Okay. There was another question about are you aware of any problems during Bluetooth enabled hearing aids during the exam? There are some exam companies that have disabled Bluetooth for fear of cheating. I have not heard of anything about AP exams. I have not heard of any of that yet either, but I will do a little investigating on that. I do know that for SSD accommodations, if somebody has hearing impaired and we have teachers that wear the specific FM amplifiers, that is an approved accommodation. But I will check in on if there's something new about that for AP. Last year there wasn't, and I do know we had a handful of students that have hearing aids.
There was another question here that if students can make changes to their accounts and correct them. Yes, they can do that as long as they get into the account for College Board, make those changes, and then remember